Ricky here with Breaking Your Barriers on our segment Hanging Out with Local Heroes. And today's hero is from Hawaii. Now, this brother, I gotta give you some background. My brother here considers himself an introvert. He considers himself a little bit shy. And I gotta put it out there, man. I gotta put it out there to all you watching this and listen to this because I won't be able to compose myself. If you look at this brother, he's not 16, okay? I gotta put it out there. He's not 16 years old, okay? Now, here's a little bit of his background. My brother here came up with, he's the founder of Seven Sketches. And let me go and read this because I gotta share it. Now, he is Hawaii-based, known for original sticker art, slaps, and basically anything that has to do with cartoons, anime, comic books, manga, along with hip hop and local culture. Not only that, this brother created a world of mashups, basically infiltrating not only Hawaii, but me personally, I'm saying globally, because his art is fantastic. Look up seven sketches. You got to see what kind of art this man puts up. And what's beautiful is he also paints murals. He does everything that has to do with art. I mean, he's just amazing. Everything from national brands to local brands to somebody that wants to hire him to do a brand for their own self, reach out to this brother. Now, what's going to be today's theme? Today's theme is basically overcoming and breaking past your barriers and breaking past your obstacles. Because this brother who considers himself a shy man, he didn't let that stop him. Other than sharing his amazing journey as a ridiculously established artist, my brother's going to open up and he's going to share his vulnerabilities today. It's going to be a tearjerker. Stick around, listen to this, because some of you might be experiencing this. I'm not going to give it away, but my brother's going to share it as he shares his journey. So today we're going to be talking about how you can overcome your obstacles, just like my man Derick. So Derick, the stage is yours. And once again, he's not 16, y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy. My brother is not 16. But when I first met him, he looked 16. I'm gonna keep this in here. So Des, if you're watching this, damn. Hey brother, the stage. I tell you, I can't keep my composure, man, because
Yeah, that's so funny, bro.
you're awesome, dude. But hey, you know what? The stage is yours. Take it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, I'm not 16. I'm really, really old. So I'm not shy about telling my age. Should I? I'll share it, man.
Yeah.
I'm 45. I'm 45 years old. So yeah, man. I wish I was a young buck, but now, yeah, I'm I'm a I'm an older dude. I've been doing art all my life. As young as I can remember. I've been drawing, and I've always been into it, and I just never gave up. I've always been drawing, but never had any like real passions to pursue it because society tells you like if you become an artist, you're gonna be a starving artist. I hear it from like people around like my family and just people I'm around. So I always drew, but I never tried to like major in art or anything like that. I that's what I say, but I tried not to. Like I would always major in things like architecture or accounting or tourism, something where it's more for the money rather than what I'm passionate about because I didn't want to be poor. But no matter what major I went into, I kept coming back to art. I kept going back and majoring in art. So I was fighting myself, like it's like, oh, do I go pursue something for a stable future or should I be happy? And in the end, my passion like beat out everything. I decided, you know what? I might not be rich, but at least I'll be happy. So I'm just gonna lean into my art and just go full force with it and see where it takes me. Um, so that's where as far as like my education, I actually studied art and I was in school for a long time. I have like many degrees in like animation, web design, and so forth and so on. As far as like Seven Sketches, the way that came about. So I had a friend. She owns this pop-up market, and it was really popular. It still is popular in Hawaii. And I linked up with her one time, or we ran into each other one time, and then she's like, "Hey, Derek, I'm looking for artists for my event. I'm wondering if you'd be interested in it." And then at that time I didn't know she was the owner of that event. I knew of that event. She's from Kauai too. Shout out to Ali. So she's like, yeah, I'm the owner of Art and Flea. I was like, what the fuck? Art and Flea is you? Because like, that's so huge in Oahu. And she's, a girl from Kauai. Like I just didn't expect, the owner of that business to be her. And I was like, oh, that's dope. Okay, Kauai people unite. But I was like, oh yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. But I was like, oh, maybe next time. I don't think, people would care for my art like that or whatever. But thank you for the invite. So like, she recognized like I was talented, but for me I wasn't confident. And and so like that's where like like why I held back for so long, because at this point I'm already like way past my 20s, and maybe like yeah, like maybe into my mid 30s or whatever, and I was just too, or late 30s even. I was like not confident in my art and that people would like it. And then on top of that, I'm like you mentioned, I'm an introvert, so I don't have that like that personality to be like in a table with my art in front of people and like sell myself. I'm kind of shy. I'm like, I don't really want to sell myself. I'm not that type of guy. And then I also like was worried that people wouldn't really care for my art, and so I could just see myself sitting there at my table, just twiddling my thumbs while people just passing by and not interested. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go through that. That's humiliating. So I told her like, oh no, I mean like, oh thank you, maybe in the future or whatever. So I didn't do it for a few years. Um, it wasn't until I was in this event called Powwow Hawaii, which is a annual mural festival, and it's actually internationally known. They do festivals all over the world, but the founder is from Hawaii. So I was at that event one day, and I was like super inspired, like just seeing all the different types of art out there, and a lot of them I resonated with me. Like I'm like, oh, that's the kind of art I can do too. Like that's my style. Like if these guys can do it, then I could, maybe I could do it too. So that's when I, in that moment, had the courage to actually do something about it. And that's when I connected with Ali again, and I asked her like, hey, can I actually like, do an event? And then she was like, of course. And that at that time, it just I feel like the stars aligned. Her event theme was retro video games, so like the 80s, like
Yeah.
Mario Brothers, like, yeah, things like that. Like so up my alley. I'm like, oh okay, I would have so much fun drawing classic video game characters. And so it started off with that. I did that event, and then even at that, I, as excited as I was still nervous as hell, not thinking I would do well. And I did it, and I actually did well. I was received so well by like the people and the vendors. Like even the vendors were my customers. Like before the place even opened up, they were coming to me and it's like, hey, okay, I gotta buy this stuff before it sells out. And so they started buying my merch, and I was like, what? This is so freaking awesome. So yeah, from that point on, like it just blew up. Like I just started getting invited to do all these other events. Then later on, it led to like collaborating with bigger companies, and that same event that I got inspired at, yeah, the Powwow Hawaii, they actually invited me to paint with them. And that's something like, dude, and that's really like a prestigious thing, because Powwow, you can't just like apply for it. And by the way, it's no longer called Powwow, it's called Worldwide Walls. So
Mhm.
at the time it's called Powwow. You cannot just like be like, hey, here's my resume or apply. Like they choose you. So yeah, the fact that they actually reached out to me and they like offered me a wall, like and I never done a mural in my life, like that blew my mind. I was like, yo, like this makes me nervous, but I cannot say no to this. This is what always wanted to do. One of the many things I've always wanted to do. So yeah.
Dude, that's freaking amazing. And yeah, yeah, the fact that they invited you and you were so, I'd say you were so wet behind the ears per se. But the thing
Totally.
is, but the thing is they saw the potential in you. So it's not about the years you've been into something. It's literally the stars aligning, and most importantly, you being prepared, because you didn't accept that thing 3 years before with Ali.
Mm,
When you gained experience, guess what you did? You said, hey Ali, I'm ready now. And
yeah,
when you're
yeah.
ready, bam, everything started to come your way. And it is not luck. I don't consider it alignment of stars, in fact, I consider it the fact that you prepared yourself regardless of what anybody thought. A 9 to 5 job, I need to be
Mm.
stable, whatever. You said, nope, I'm choosing my passion. Who were your inspirations to even get into art?
That's a good question. I mean, there's so many inspirations for me, role models, but when I first started, I mean, I have to say my mom and dad actually. I mean, I know that might sound corny, but that's where I was first exposed to art, because when I was a kid, like they're both like artistic. And I remember my dad like at that time, I remember watching Superman, and I thought that was like one of the coolest movies ever. And so I asked my dad, Dad, can you draw me like Superman? And he did. So he would draw me as a Superman character, and then my mom too. Like my mom was being playful. Like she drew a picture of herself running after me, like about to spank me with a stick, and then she's like laughing. But just the fact that it looked cool to me. It was like, wow, my mom can actually draw. That's so cool. And so, and as a kid, naturally, like that's one of the first things you do, right? Like you're in school and they make you draw whatever. But
Mhm.
just my parents are like the first people I can remember looking up to. Like, wow, my parents are like so good. And then after that, it's just my inspiration. Just I didn't know like people like artists at the time, but just whatever, like cartoons, comic strips.
Yep.
So like Bugs Bunny, Garfield, things like that. I would be like drawing stuff like that all the time. But I think when I got older, that's when I started like, you know, finding like, like heroes, like my role models. One of them would be Todd McFarlane. He was a Spider-Man artist. So when I got into collecting comic books, he was the reason I got into collecting comic books. Because when I saw his art, always seen comic books. I thought comic books were cool and all, but I never loved it until I saw his work. I'm like, this looks like it's comic books, but it looks so different. Like I felt like he was one of the first artists that broke the mold, and his style was it just stood out from everybody else's. And he made characters that burst through panels. Like he was doing different things, and so it caught my attention. And his style was like so dope. I'm like, okay, like he became my favorite, and then so I started like mimicking his style. Um, but yeah, dude, I mean, I can go on and on and on, but like, past that, graffiti artists, my classmates, like they were like levels above me when I saw their work. And I'm like, yo, you guys are so freaking dope, man. And so like, they kind of, inspired me to like, be doing what I'm doing till this day. I still give them their props, man. They're still like super dope compared to me. So like, I have to give them their flowers.
I think you're just selling yourself short. I'm sure
Oh, thank you.
you're just as amazing as they are. And
Thank you. Thank you.
what's beautiful about that, brother, you keep yourself as humble as possible, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
And I'm telling you, man, the fact that, and I'm gonna keep blowing this up, but we grew up in the same era, so we both had the Atari.
Yes, definitely.
We had
That
the
was my
first
first
generation
console.
Nintendo.
Bruh. Yes, that's my favorite, man, till this day.
Pong.
Yeah. Arkanoid.
It's gonna continue to uplift people, which is beautiful, brother. Keep doing that. And I
Thank
guarantee you
you.
this much, you got people who are uplifting you because they're like, I want to reach his level. So
No,
yeah,
that touches me when yeah, and yeah, people tell me that. They're like, they tell me like, oh, you inspire me, and keep doing you. And like, yeah, that's so like that touches me because I don't think I never think that I'd ever be anywhere at a level where I can inspire people. Like I feel like I'm always at the bottom trying to like, level up and trying to, catch up to, yeah, always like I just want to be like everyone else, and I don't want to look whack in front of people. So that pushes me to like, give it my all the time.
personally, you're at a different level. You know what I think? You're
Mm.
on your own playing field
Oh, thank you, man.
because you're not doing their art. Guess who you're
Mm.
doing? You're doing Derek's art. You're doing Derek's passion. You're doing Derek's creativity and whatever comes from your heart and your mind. So when people say they're trying to level up, sure, level up in a sense where you want to stick with a trend, but you put Derek into that mix. So if you
Mm.
ask me, I don't think you have to level up. I think you have to
Oh.
continue to do what you do, which is to inspire, you continue to educate yourself, and most
Mm.
importantly, be you. That's the reason why people love you because you are unique. Your
Oh,
art is
thank you.
unique.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate
No,
that.
you inspire me, brother. And I gotta ask you, where was the time in your life when you doubted yourself? Because this is what I want to share with people who
Mm.
are introverts and who have doubt. Where
Yeah.
what time in your life were you doubtful, where you had self-confidence issues and nearly at that point of quitting? What Where did this happen in your life?
That's a really good question too. Because before I started my art journey, the whole seven sketches thing, like before that, that's where I had like the biggest struggle. But as far as like, and while I was doing my art, I have struggles regularly, but I don't think it's as crazy as it was before that. My main struggle, this is my biggest demon, and like it's hard for me, like I for the longest time it was hard for me to talk about because it's so like embarrassing to me. And at that time it was not, not like today where it's a little more awareness of it. But my biggest demon is basically clinical depression. I have to put in the word clinical too, because my depression, like it didn't come out of it wasn't triggered by a situation. I call it situational triggers. I didn't have that. Where like somebody passed away, or like, I got into an it just happened out of nowhere for no reason. And even worse than that, it was while things were good in life, so I could, maybe if my life was just like, like just, blah, like it wasn't exciting nor was it depressing, but it wasn't. I was like on a high on life. Like I was like super enthusiastic. This is where like I wasn't an introvert. Like I was actually super outgoing. I was so enthusiastic. I was brave. I was, productive. I was just like doing things, and I was just nonstop. Like when people, like that Derek was not the Derek that everybody knew, in elementary and high school. Like I was like out of my shell, like big time. And so during that moment, I got depressed, and like I was like, I went from that to like the complete opposite. Like I was like just nervous around people. I couldn't hold conversations. And even it didn't matter who you were too. Like you could be my closest friend since, kindergarten. I'd still be awkward around you. Like I was like, what the hell's going on with me? Like why can't I talk like I used to? Why am I nervous? Why am I trying to avoid people all of a sudden? And then I just lost interest in everything too. I couldn't even watch TV. Like TV was like not interesting to me. Usually that would be an escape from my reality, but that didn't even do anything for me. Like the only thing I looked forward to was sleeping and not waking up. Like every time I woke up, I was like, fuck, I'm awake and I'm still feeling this way and I don't know why. So that was like the worst of it. So like, I couldn't hold a job. I dropped out of school. I even moved back home, from Oahu to Kauai to live with my parents. And I just felt like a vegetable. I felt like a burden on them. So it was like, yeah, dude, it was like the hardest thing ever. I was like, why am I alive? And this sucks. I fucking hate myself. And like, and then this is the worst thing for me to say, but this is what I was thinking. Like, I wish something bad had happened to me, so at least I can say like why I feel this way, and at least I feel like I can be helped. Because if there's no like source of the sadness, then how can you help me? Like people are, advised to see a therapist and stuff like that, and like I can't even like I can, going to the therapist, and then the therapist is gonna ask me questions, and I feel like I don't know. I have no idea why I feel like this, and like it didn't, it just, I felt like I literally thought I was going crazy. And so then I realized I started doing search, research on the internet. And then that's when I discovered what depression was. And like, that was a mental illness. I never heard of that, like, mental illness. Like what? And then that medicine could take care of that and whatnot. And so that blew my mind. Like that opened up a whole new world to me. Like, what is this? And I got obsessed with it because I was like, oh, I'm glad that I'm not the only one in the world that feels this way. Like there's, quite a bit of people that struggle with this. And so I did the whole thing. I actually saw a doctor, I got medication for it, and I saw a therapist. But for the longest time, medication wasn't helping me either. So I was giving up on that too. I was like, man, 6 months of being happy, 6 months of being depressed. It was like that for a
Right.
couple of yeah, for a few years. It was like that. And so that made me want to give up on life, because if I knew that my future was like this, 6 years depressed, 6 years okay, 6 years depressed, I'm like, I can't do anything in life. I can't hold a job. I can't finish school. Da 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 da. Like I was already preparing myself. Like if I have to accept this, let me find a job where I don't have to talk to people. It's mindless. It's easy. It doesn't require thinking, and I can just go into my cave every day, and that's just my existence, and not make friends, or yeah, like not meet you. Because every time I met people, yeah, when I was happy, that was that was more people I had to hide from when I became depressed for 6 months. So I was like, fuck, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like this sucks. And Oh man, I don't want to go too much into the details. I don't want to get emotional, but real quick, like it got so bad where like I was actually like doing. Oh, it's so weird for me to. I feel so uncomfortable saying this, but I was like doing research on how to like just off myself, like the most quickest and most painless way because I'm like, I just can't. I can't handle this.
Mhm.
Oh, I can feel it welling up. I can't do this. I just don't want to put that on my family, and like people that I love and stuff like that. So I was like, I think this is the best solution. And I'm so glad that I wasn't, I didn't do, like I didn't go beyond that. Like it was kind of crazy because I started like looking around my house. I was kind of testing things to see like, can I pull this off? Can I actually pull this off? And then after that, like I was like desperate at that point. Like I was like even like I was like praying hardcore, like trying to believe I'd see God appear in my living room to stop me. Like I was just like that desperate. And then for me, like all of a sudden, like I just had this like I don't want to call it. It's not really a vision, but I just thought about what would happen had I done something like that, and just seeing the outcome and the way that it would like affect my loved ones, and like that was enough for me. Like that was like right then and there I was like I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I thinking this way? Like you just that's not the answer. Like we'll take baby steps, whatever it is. I think that humbled me because where I didn't want to like really seek out like help or whatever, I realized like I need it, and I cannot heal on my own. I cannot just chill by myself and expect myself to get better over time. Like I need help desperately. And so like I went out and I went to like, I seriously seeked out like help with like therapists, not fellowships, support groups, and that felt so awkward for me. I can think of a time I was in Cali when this happened. And I was going through it and I was so desperate. I was like, man, like I'm here by myself. I don't have a support group. I really need like some sort of help. I had a friend that I was living with and stuff like that, but I needed more than that. Yeah. So I actually like seeked out like support groups, and I felt so weird because like this one support group, like I was the only, first of all, like I was one of the few guys that was part of this group. And secondly, I was the second of all, I was the only guy that was not Caucasian. So like I was like, I just felt so alone because I don't know if I could, they could relate to me and if I could relate to them. And so I'm like, they're so nice though. Like these people, like I love them. Like one of them was my angels and actually like helped me get paid for my doctor visits and stuff like
Mm.
that, and that helped me out immensely. So I don't even know who that person is, but till this day, like I'm so grateful
Oh,
for
wow.
him. Yeah, like that was like God sent, like big time, and like that because of that help, like I actually found the right medication that actually did something for me. Um, but yeah, dude, like that was like years ago. But today, like I still experience like depression, but not as deep as that. But it's not completely out of my system. I feel like I it's a constant battle to keep it at bay. But I'm so grateful that yeah, it's not that dark anymore.
Honestly, brother, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
not
did.
a lot of people do.
And for you to share today, it is huge. It
Thank you.
is it is such a blessing, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. For you to share and put your heart on your sleeve today, regardless of how you felt, you're willing to do it. It means so much, not only to me, but
Mm,
to everybody who's going to listen to this, everybody who's going through the same thing, if not something a little bit less or a little bit more, or just right on spot.
mm,
The greatest demons we're ever going to fight are our self-talk,
exactly.
our self
Yeah.
thoughts, our what we view of ourselves. So for you, brother, I'm thankful to God for that. God sent whoever that man is, whoever you are. If you see this brother right here, Derick, nothing but love for you coming from Derick and coming from me. Nothing but love for you. You're an angel sent. And guess what? Derick is paying it forward by saving lives because he did it. And it takes courage to ask for help. So if you feel doubtful, don't feel doubtful. Ask for help. It is powerful. Derek, thank you for sharing that. My goodness, I thought I knew you had struggles, but I didn't realize it was that deep.
Dude, it was, man. Like, yeah, dude, like there's certain things I listen to, like certain songs I listen to that bring me back to those days. Cause like it just so happened the music was popular at that time or whatever. And then everything just comes back. And like when I reflect on like where I was and where I'm at now, like that Derek, that depressed Derek would never see myself where I'm at right now. Like that's so crazy to me. And so it's, it trips me out that I was like, like there's one time like I was when I say that I like really like avoided everyone, I mean it like big time, like like shades were drawn and everything, right? And I never stepped out of my room. This is when I was living with my brother. It was just me and my brother, and my brother's so nice. Like he didn't understand what was going on, but he also like was sensitive to me, and like he didn't try to like make me push me to do things that made me feel uncomfortable. At the same time, looking back on it, I kind of wish maybe he did push me because in the way he kind of enabled. It's not his fault at all, but he kind of enabled me to be like that, right? So 6 months straight, yeah, in our condo, and then the one time my brother started, I guess my brother's kind of like, oh man, Derek, I don't like seeing you like this. You really got to do something. Can you at least do the laundry? Like you don't have to talk to anybody. You just go downstairs, and come back up. Can you at least handle that? And he's so nice, yeah. Like he was so patient with me. It's like, and I felt so guilty because I literally was like not doing anything. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, sorry, I'll do that. I'll do that. I call him Pare, yeah, like Pare. So he goes off to work, and I'm left with to do the laundry. And dude, when I opened up the door and the sun, like it felt foreign to me. Like to see brightness like that, to feel that warmth on my skin, I never felt that sensation for like 6 months straight. I stood there like just kind of in awe of like, what is this? Like it's just been that long since then. That's what depression did to me. It was like that bad.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I kid you not, brother. You're a blessing being here today. And the reason why you are on hanging out with local heroes is because you are a hero. You may
Thank
not
you.
think that, but you
Yeah.
are. The fact that you're so open to share this and you're so open to making people realize this isn't a joke. This isn't just, hey, get over it. This is not one of
Right.
those things. It's not that. Just like what you said earlier, it is an illness. And we gotta find the cause of it. And you found it by finding these wonderful people that helped you realize, hey, ask for help, and I'm going to go ahead and take care of you to do this. And here you are today. You're a huge inspiration, brother. I don't care what anybody tells you. You're an amazing inspiration, and
Thank you.
please keep sharing your story. It is that important because so many people in our day and age right now are suffering with some form of mental health. You're that light.
Thank you.
It's going to be foreign for them to hear it from you, but you are that light. You are the sun for the people who are suffering right now. So brother, as impressive as your worldwide art is, it is more impressive how you overcame this terrible illness and are willing to share it today.
Thank you so much, man. It's really hard to like share that story. I want to because I like you said, I know that because I loved it when people shared their struggles with me or even on a like when not with me directly, but to the public. It helped me know like, I'm not alone in it, and that wow, they overcame it and look where they're at right now. So like if they can do it, then there's hope for me. And I did not look down upon them at all. Like I didn't think like, what? They're crazy or whatever. Like it lifted my spirits. But for me, like to share my story, like that's hard for some reason. I'm like, oh, I'm shame, I'm shy, and I don't know if people are gonna like judge me or whatever. But like the way you received it, and like some of the other people I've feedback that I get, like so far nothing but love. And like I just it helps to hear that because it's not easy to share. I'm willing to, I'm open to, but I still feel shy about it. I'm still kind of get the heebie-jeebies every time I'm about to talk about it.
I can't blame you, brother. Similar to when I share being a former gang member, when I share being a former troublemaker, and then here I am at this day and age. talking to troubled youth, helping them get out of their funk, and
Mm,
talking to brothers like yourself, and hopefully inspiring you from the stories that we shared during our summit. I
totally.
I man, I have nothing but love for you, brother, and I have nothing but love for that man, that angel that was sent your way, because it was not only a premonition. What you prayed for, you received it.
Oh, that's hey, facts.
Yeah, you received it, brother.
That's true. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's so true.
Number one, people, don't be shy to share your story like my brother over here, Derek. This is my brother from another mother right here. And number two, he's gonna close us out with something special because wow, I have no words, and I usually am not out of words, but this dude is deep. Like every champion and every hero that I've interviewed, this is a deep brother.
Hey,
Brother,
thank you.
do you have any tips or suggestions for people today who are struggling that they
Mhm.
can start out with so they can take their baby steps towards recovery?
Yeah, I mean, I yeah, definitely don't do what I did for the longest time. My struggles, like I think the nature of my struggles like makes me like not want to put myself out there. Yeah, like and thinking that I can like, do it on my own and heal on my own, or it'll take care of itself or it'll get better. Like, yeah, those are all lies that you like cannot believe in. Like, as uncomfortable as it feels, or, as, like, yeah, basically as uncomfortable as it makes you feel, or as scared as you are, or what have you, like, you need to reach out for help. Like, there's the only way, I feel like the only way I have gotten better is because I reached out for help. People knew that I needed help and they helped me. And people, shit, people are good like that. So we gotta, I feel like in anything, like everything that I do, be it getting through, like battling my depression, being a successful artist, it took a community. I didn't do any of that by myself. It was the people that, supported me, that cheered me on, that helped me out, that took time out of their day to, like, be with me or help me in any way possible, point me in the right direction. It's definitely a community effort. So reach out to your fellow homies.
Thank you. Hey, brother, all I can say is thank you for sharing your story today. And oh my goodness. I literally needed to compose myself. I thought I was surprised by the age thing, but holy crap, man. Dang. I was like, don't.
I know.
Oh man, because I feel you, brother. I really do. But
Thank you.
thank you for being an amazing champion, and I kid you not, an amazing hero all the way from Hawaii.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for being on the show, brother. And
I
like
appreciate it. Thank you.
oh man, you're a blessing. Like we always say on Hanging Out with Local Heroes, changing one life at a time. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.